Are you ready to go? From last game, it was a good win, pretty good. Got to be better, but good. And as far as just getting some plays in all three phases, still some glitches along the way, but kicking was a lot more solid and made some improvement on defense. Got some offensive stuff to keep working on, but pretty good team win against a good opponent. So really happy for our players, especially some of those old guys. Been working hard and kind of doing some things you want, and you don't get the results. It's easy to get a little frustrated, and those guys kind of have maintained a great attitude. So I was really happy just for some of these old guys, the Bolzers and Hughes and Hebens and Ewalds and those cats. It was a good deal. Players of the game for us, special teams. We recognized 4 guys. I thought that play that Ralph Green made before the half, blocking a punt, or blocking the field goal, could be a 10-10 game. Actually did it twice, got it a second time. We actually, from there, went down and scored again, so that was a point play. Stephen Funderburg's play, causing a fumble, really kind of broke it open for us in the fourth quarter. It's still a 2-possession type game, and we had scored and fly down and create a turnover, and it was a huge play. Nick Stoner downing the ball down on the 1 with a punt from Eric Toth. That gives us another point play. We get a safety after that. So we had some points created from some nice special team plays. We blocked a lot of kicks. That blocked field goal was huge. The cause fumble on the kickoff was huge. We've seen those go against us in previous weeks, so to make those plays were huge. So that we recognize those 4 guys, with the 4th guy being Ted Bolzer, who maybe didn't have an impact play, but every week has been our best flying down the field kickoff guys, getting double teamed, the way he attacks it, doing a great job. And punt coverage, had a tackle on a punt play that almost got out. So Ralph Green, Stephen Funderburg, Nick Stoner, Ted Bolzer are special team players that we recognize for winning performances. On defense, Mark Murphy, his best game to date, a little bit more consistent, cleaned up some missed hits, just showed up a lot more. The ball came his way, and was by far our best defensive player. On offense, Cody Latimer statistically played well. He's always been great too in special teams. He plays good without the ball at a high level. Did in early weeks when he maybe didn't have some catches. But not just Cody, it was our best game from an offensive lineman with Colin Rorick. Did a great job for us in the perimeter, and just, we're trying to do some stuff reasonably quick and being able to communicate and get some young linemen settled down. And we've had a couple different guys going through their offensive guard. So Colin Rorick and Cody Latimer. Our scout players of the week, the young guys, behind the scene guys, Jordan Jackson from up the road on offense, and Andre Booker. Have done a nice, matter of fact, Jordan actually is a tight end, and we actually sometimes play as an offensive lineman to help us through some of our scout looks with some of our depth issues. Scout defensive players, Justin Nowak, really did a nice job on that fumbled kickoff. He's got to come flying down, took on the double team. His helmet flew up in the air, but really attacked and smashed and played a little special team. Justin Nowak, a backup DB for us, and Nate Hoff, who's a freshman D lineman, doing good. So again, nice to come off that open date with some good work. We cleaned up some stuff. Still got a long way to go. It is good to have 1 game success in the Big Ten. We haven't shown that we can back it up and do it again with another good week of preparation, the appropriate mindset that we need to then go out and execute again. And we got a great opponent this week going on the road, our first road test to a team that's playing very well, close to being a top 25 team. And Woodby, that came up a little short, I think 17-14 at Notre Dame, that lone loss. Played very well last week. Very dominating performance against what looks to me to be a very strong Iowa team. Iowa's a ball control, physical, style attack, and they played well. I think Iowa was 6th in the nation time of possession and really playing a run-oriented, great defensive game. And Michigan State had well over 400 yards. I think, like us, came off their open day, cleaned their offense up, settled on a quarterback. They play as good a defense as there is in this country, and for sure, no disrespect to in our league, as good as there is in this league, starting with Coach D'Antonio and Coach Narduzzi. So great challenge for offense. And if you know much about Coach D'Antonio, his special teams are always good. They keep you on toes. They ran a fake last week, always have, and always will. So they're a complete team. They're a team that played in the championship game 2 years ago, won 10 games, 11 games, a couple years in a row. Last year for them, an okay year, but they're back up to their standard, and this will be a huge test on the road. So we're looking forward to this week's challenge.
I know you don't want any kind of contentment after a win, but is there a sigh of relief at all for you to finally have this team that's come close so many times, finally get that feeling and getting over the hump?
Not as much me. I think I'm really kind of just for the guys, because those guys have been working, and it's not cliche, because if they weren't doing good, we shoot you straight. And when you're practicing hard and you're asking them to make some commitment, huge summer commitment, and you're out there hitting at a pretty good clip, and you're giving up a lot of things and sacrificing, and you keep hitting the head on the wall, and you're on the wrong end of the ledger, those guys have been solid and stayed with us. And I was just really, kind of pleased for a lot of those guys have been with us all 3 years, whether it be the seniors or some of those fourth-year guys or some of those true third-year guys like Latimer and Wynn and those guys. Now, they missed that first winter, but they've kind of been with us. And, the core, we've got a core group that's been with us 3 years. Some of them are fifth-year players, some of them are fourth-year players, and a lot of them are third-year players. But it was really, I like the way we practice. I believe in what we're doing, but you just worry about your team staying with you. And they were. But the more the results you have, I think the easier that's going to be. So just really pleased for them. And hopefully on the back end too, hopefully I'm kind of pleased for our fans. And hopefully they'll kind of realize that we are making some strides. And it's going to be a lot easier if we're together. And we have some great home environments. We got 2 tough road games and an open date. We can come back for 3 out of 5 at home. So it'd be nice to finish with some energy in the building. Because we had a lot of energy Saturday. We had a lot on our sideline. And I think as it went, our crowd kind of picked up. Because I thought we really had, maybe numbers weren't huge, but we had some energy in the second half of the stadium. That was great. Our players appreciated it. I appreciated it. I think it really helped our team.
How important will it be for those players to be able to draw on that experience of getting over the hump going forward?
We've been saying before we needed confidence, and the more that you win, the more confident you can be. Something's got to come first, so we were trying to give us some backhanded confidence, practicing like a winning team, treating them like a winning team, because they were working like one. We weren't getting the results. But we thought our plan would be in place, and like I say, you'd like to think it'd repeat. But again, around here too, as soon as we do kind of go, we get patted on the back, and we don't prepare the right way, and we don't come back. If you're a good team, what we did Saturday wasn't to me unusual. What to me is unusual is can we do it again? Because we haven't shown that, and so that'll be interesting as a coach and as leaders and as players. And it's going to be a tough challenge. And again, we're not going to be consumed with going to win, and we're going to be consumed with how we prepare in the process and going up and putting forth a good effort and playing as hard as we can. And we'll check the scoreboard out and see if we coach right and make the right calls and make the right plays. But at the end of the day, I'd like to just see if our kids can handle the success of a winning team. We're going to win some, but we got to learn how to handle it if we're going to be a winning team.
Yeah, to follow up on that, can you teach our coach how to deal with success? Because so far this year, you've been a little bit like this. These guys have been getting patted on the back all week. How do you coach that, dealing with success?
I felt in preseason we were going to have success. And I talked early, but it was talk. To me, history repeats itself if you don't learn from your mistakes. So we're going back looking at coaches and our preparation, and we've asked the players. So again, there was a really strong positive amount of energy last week. We didn't overwork or overtrain through that open date week. We really just looked at ourselves and what to do. That was a little bit of our direction last night. We saw a lot of mistakes, a lot of things. Again, defensively, we still got a bunch to clean up. Offensively, getting in rhythm and getting some first downs and getting some drives. Kicking was better, but it was a 1 week better. We haven't been consistent in a kick game. So we talked about it a while back, but yesterday we really just emphasized we're going to be the same team till we can back it up. And not back it up with having to win. This is going to be a tremendous test for us. This is a good football team defensively, and they're coming in their own offensively, and you're going on the road. This is a nice challenge. But really, it's to me, how do we accept the challenge? The first word, as we went through some with our team last week about, when you're attacking something, the A means accept the challenge. So accept the challenge of playing a good team, accept the challenge of having success, and now put it together and go see if you can play your best again. So we'll see.
When you guys haven't handled success well, what have you seen from the guys like during the week? Can you tell on a Monday after a big win that, oh man, here we go again. These guys are too built up, or do you see actual evidence of something going on?
I thought that first week at Navy, we just got a little laughing like it was easy. Towards the end of the week, just we're in a good mood. And you need to have some confidence and feel good. But I don't know if you're in a good mood when you get ready to go out there and throw your body around, smash people around a little bit. There's a way a guy goes in the ring, he's feeling good, but I don't know if he's just, chuckles a clown kind of guy, So, in Missouri, I thought they were a good football team, and we need to play well, and we just didn't. And so I think that was a product of maybe just, playing a good team and not playing our best. This week, we know we're playing a good football team, and we know we came up short. We're not going to go back and rehash what we didn't do right. We're going to look at what we did right last week and build on it, and see if we're man enough to have the type of week to go give us a chance to win the game. The way we prepared, and the energy we brought last week gave us a chance. We still had to make plays. Fortunately, we did. We need to do the same process this week. We'll still have to make plays, and we'll see if we got a chance. It's going to be a strong challenge for us.
Does last year's Michigan State game enter into the preparation at all in terms of first half versus second half last year? A bit of a different game. Looking at that and see what worked and what didn't.
As much as anything, to me, we came out with some energy, and I don't know if an early kick on the road, if they did, and then they brought it in the second half, made their adjustments, and we didn't. So they just, to me, that's why they're a winning football program. They did the things you needed to come back and win a game, and we had, quote, a lot of opportunities that maybe we were hoping to and trying to, but now we need to be at a point to. So again, on the road, not that big a deal. We're going to play 4 great road games, first of many. I actually like being on the road. Sometimes there's less distractions. You got them all together, is what it is. We kind of communicate, no huddle. So I don't know if it's that big a communication deal with what you're doing. We do need to communicate better defensively. Fortunately, when you're on the road, most people are quiet when their offense is out there, so that shouldn't be a huge deal for our defense. So hopefully, when you play on the road, you got communication issues. Outside that, it's the same field. It's keeping your eyes focused on the target and what you got to do. So again, I think last year, again, it's a different team. They graduated a lot of players. We're different than we were last year as well, with a lot of new guys in. So like I say, it's just where we were from last week, and it's building this week. You look at them, I think they had a great week a week ago. I think they came off their open date at 3-1, knowing that they were doing a lot of things well, and a lot of things to work on. You watch their Iowa performance, and just knowing a little bit about Coach D'Antonio. I'm personally reasonably close to a couple of those coaches. I've worked with them or coached them, so I know a couple of those guys. I know how they coach, and you can tell they did a great job. So again, they're pointing in the right direction. I know they got big goals. We do too. Our main goal is to show that we can have back-to-back good days and back-to-back good weeks. And we're going to go through and worry more about us and attacking this week, and then schematically attacking Michigan State more than it's on the road and all that. But it's going to be a strong challenge.
Kevin, what makes Michigan State so strong in stopping the run? I think they're giving up about 51 yards a game. Nobody's rushed for over 100 yards. But what is it specifically they do to make it so challenging?
Combination. They got what you want. Personnel is awfully good, and scheme's awfully good. So they've done what they've done a long time. Coach D'Antonio, head coach, but a defensive guy, always has a fight. But their defensive coordinator, Pat Narduzzi, is the best or one of them in this league and in the country. So, and he's again a friend. Worked with the guy. They structurally know where to line up. They know where they're supposed to be. They know where their eyes are. They know their schemes. They're really strong in their blitz package of when they blitz and how they blitz. And they do a great job, and a lot of it comes from Pat's ties really that he's taken to an extremely another level, but to Coach Hebner, who I had a chance to go against a long time, and that you know how to cheat and make somebody play with their left hand. Load that box up and where your eyes need to be and where your gaps need to be and how to play structurally really good with very, very good defense. They're good up front. Max Bola, their linebackers, their edge players are awesome. Seen them out. They should have graduated me 3 years ago, and I've only been here 3 years. It's like you see the same catch every week. The corners lock you down. They're competitive. One of the great safeties was from up the road, Ben Davis kid. They put about 15, 16 kids out there that can play. They know how to hunt. They know their defense. It's going to be a great challenge. They're good.
How much of that, sorry, I guess Kofi talked about this, especially on the outside with a lot of that press coverage and just one-on-one coverage. How much this week is about maybe just challenging some individual guys to basically just go out there and get the best of the man across from them?
Yep, and that's a part of it because that's what they do. But you got to have 11 guys still if your protection is breaking down. If your quarterback's not putting the ball on target, if you're not, calling the right stuff. It's not just one guy making that play. I tell them all the time, it takes 11 guys to make an extra point. It's just not the kicker or the snapper. You still got to block your gaps and do your job. And when you're doing something right, it takes 11 guys to play good run defense. It takes 11 guys to play good pass D. It takes 11 guys to throw it. If you're throwing it well, not running, you say your line stinks. Well, if you're throwing it well, your line's pass blocking. It takes 11 guys. And there's some one-on-one matchups, and they're going to be competitive matchups because the way Michigan State plays and why they're good, Pete, is they compete. They get up in your grill, they get up in your face, they do what they do. They do it every week. They do it no matter who it is, and they do it good. And they make you compete, and there's going to be competitive plays. And their type of defense is they make a lot of competitive plays, so that you're going to have to. And then same deal defensively. We got to find a way to get stops and not let their offense get in rhythm like they did last week against Iowa. Because I think that was the big thing last week, is their offense got in rhythm. It even gave them more gas to really get after Iowa last week.
Utah. You guys had good offensive balance Saturday. I think Michigan State's given up something like 256 rushing yards all year. How important is it for you guys to maintain some form of balance this Saturday?
It's always easier, because if not, it's what happened in Missouri. And, it's just easier when guys start, really locking you down and getting your eyes on receivers and really pinning their ears back and getting your quarterback going on his heels. And matter of fact, the first pick in the Iowa game the other day by one of the great players, one of the great corners, it was really caused by protection breakdown. The quarterback couldn't get through the throw. So some dude that no one even knows is fighting on a twist, coming through and getting a hand. The quarterback couldn't transfer his weight. Ball comes up short, and everybody says, great pick by that guy. It was a team play. And so, if you get one-dimensional, it's hard. And these guys are going to make it tough. Now, they just don't line them and say, here, do this. I mean, they're really good. And because of that, they have a chance every game because they're going to play great defense. And that being said, for us, our defense needs to be better. And we got to find a way not to beat ourselves as an offense and make enough plays to be on the right side of the ledger. It's going to be, we'll only have a chance as a team because it's not about our offense against their good defense. Our defense, again, last week, their offense really matched up well against an outstanding Iowa defense, controlled the game, and that's where that game really went Michigan State's way. They won. They played very well as a team last week.
You talked on Saturday. You mentioned that you're kind of always viewed as an offensive coach and that you've got to coach the whole team. Did you make more of a point, especially during the bye week, to spend more time working with defense? And have you tried to do that just in general? Put more of your focus towards working with those guys and making sure they're doing what you want to do?
A little bit, and sometimes just maybe trying to organize our practice, right? Some time to get on their field with them. Because sometimes, I just go with the quarterbacks. Coach John's got quarterbacks, receivers. Carter Whitson, a young GA, does a great for us as a receiver guy, helping him. Sometimes I was over with those guys. And so we tried to work practice where, and I kind of go over there, come a line guy, I kind of stood right where the umpire was, right between the linebackers, and started yelling a little bit. Let's go get the call, get lined up. Let's go. Not that I don't have any defensive answers, but there's an attitude and effort I think we need to play with, and it was bothering me. I just didn't see us playing as clean as we need to play, or with the effort, and it wasn't bad, but just wasn't what I thought we needed. And I didn't give them a bunch of answers. I did look and say, here's what I think they're doing. Here's how he's going to attack you. As an offensive coach, I do study offenses. I sit there and watch Michigan State. Okay, you're going to get this or this. I'll sit there and watch plays with them before I watch games. Say, okay, right now it's this or this. And as an offensive guy, you can get right. Like you guys as fans, you sit there and say they're getting ready to run this play, that play. Everybody calls the plays, right? Hey, he's getting ready to run it up the middle again, 3rd and 1, right? Why do you do it? Right? Everybody calls plays, right? So I do that. You watch plays, but I ask our defensive guys to be more assertive, more confident, get our kids to speak up and be louder. If you're a confident team, confident person, you're loud. You don't have to brag, but you're loud. And when you got new kids on it, when you're a new kid at school, when you go to new school, you're real quiet. You put your head down, you walk away from people. A confident person kind of, without bragging, kind of has a presence. So we talked last week about having some more defensive confidence, being a little bit more vocal, being a little bit more simple so our kids weren't thinking. That's all I talked about with those guys. And then I tried to get into a couple meetings and have an offensive view of what I think and what I wanted to see. And then I went over in the practice field a little bit just to have a little presence, but I didn't give them any answers. I said, here's what I think you need to do. Now you figure out how to do it. And Coach Mallory and his guys did that, not me.
When you say you don't give them any answers, what do you mean exactly?
I'm not a defensive guy. Coach Stoops all the time. I don't listen to me though. But he's like, hey, I think but don't listen to me. I'm like, hey, here's what I think as an offensive guy. But I don't have that view. When you're looking at a picture, there's different views people have. And I have, Randy Walker had an offensive view of running a program. Coach Stoops had a defensive view. I saw some of that, but I'm still an offensive person, and I'm trying to get this offense out of me and be a little bit more of a head guy. And we're doing everything we can to try to give our defensive players and coaches, as we still run our offense in practice, but what can we do to help bring our defense along? And work very hard in a positive way in the open day. But again, I credit those guys. I said, here's the problems I see that I think you should fix. We're just not getting lined up right. We're just misaligned. How many guys on this play didn't do the right thing? 2 guys, 3 guys, probably too many. You're going to have errors, but we're having too many. If you're having too many errors, that's on me. That's on us. Let's simplify and we didn't play just standard issue vanilla Saturday, but we tried to make it easier for our kids. And then they went out and played hard and did better. We'll need to do the same thing this week.
Do you want to get to the point as a coach so that you can see both sides of the picture, whether it's now or whether it's, years from
Yeah, I
now?
don't know if
Do
you
you
ever
spend
do.
more time kind of trying to get that mindset or get that view so that you can kind of look at it from both angles?
I don't know if you ever, I mean, to me, you're going to see it the way you see it. Shoot, there's a lot of times my eyes go to the box because I was used to being a line coach. I coach quarterbacks, but I watch their feet. I didn't watch them throw. Like, I don't even know how you throw. I don't know how you throw. I don't teach throwing. I teach your feet. There's your read, what you read, and do you get your body in line like a golfer? And because I don't understand that. Like, I can't sit behind a quarterback and say, you should throw it here, because when they start moving that way, I never saw that. I saw what guards and centers see, and like, hey, here comes the ball. I saw those. You have visions. You have things you see. And I just don't, to me, you've got your view. My thing was, I don't know if I'm ever going to see things, but there's a presence I think our team needs to play with as a complete team. And I thought last week, I appreciate the way our special teams and our defense and our offense played, because it was a little bit more of how I feel I'd like our program to be. Not being selfish, but the way I think we ought to play as a unit. And I think that's why I kind of liked it as a team. I just kind of felt like that's what I think it ought to look. Still wasn't perfect. Still gave up some yards. So had too many third down conversions they got. We didn't convert enough third downs. We had some errors. We had turnover. We had a fourth down score zone we don't get. We got some things in the kicking game to claim. It wasn't perfect, but it felt like something that I think we need, how I think we ought to play.
The true freshmen on the defensive side of the ball, are they developing the way at the rate that you want, and what would you like to see, I guess, more out of those guys?
I think they're doing well. It's still, one of my comments to them a week ago, I said, I think I'm mothering you too much. I'm holding you by the hand, and don't do this, and don't do that, and make sure you're on time, and turn your work in, and be nice to people, and clean up your locker, and, it's like, hey, you're a man now, I'm gonna go quit acting like an eighth grader, you know the rules, do what's right, let's go on the field and play hard. And if you mess up, that's our fault. And so, we kind of took open dates, said, okay, we're gonna quit calling you a little bit, on and off the field. You understand our guidelines and rules, you understand how we want to practice, and you gotta get on the field, but it's a two-way street. And they're doing okay, they're gaining on it, but I do think some of those things we're talking about in simplifying our communication helps those guys, because they are athletically are doing well.
At that, I guess, in that vein, have they maybe gotten some of those, especially the front seven rotations, to a point where you feel like time of possession isn't as important of a stat because you can throw a lot of fresh bodies on there? You can keep legs fresher, essentially, just because you've got deeper rotations along the defensive line and at linebacker, maybe in part because of some of those young guys?
We are playing a number of those guys, like Marcus Oliver and TJ both played a lot at Mike. We'll get Cormier was back practicing last night, so we'll get him back in the mix. And Alex Todd's held up and done well. So, but again, time of possession, we got to quit. It's not being quick on offense, but you can't go 3 and out. You can't turn over. And this is a team that probably, I think, maybe I don't know if anybody does the stat, but if they don't, I think this team probably leads the country in 3 and outs that we're playing against. They do a great job of getting you off the field. And again, that will be a formula for disaster. So it's going to be hard, to get your drive started and have some success. But a part of that time possession, you got to get a defensive stop, and offense, you can't go 3 and out. And we do our tempo, but part of our tempo is one of the reasons we scored as many points as we scored. And that's a part of our formula to win. I don't know if we're talented and built to win 17-14 right now. It's just maybe not our dynamic physically with our line playing and the structure of our guys. So as we skin the cat, it's playing with effort, putting it all together, but we got to put together the chance to quote, maybe score. And we got to push that deal.
From a health standpoint, how are you doing, especially with David Kaminsky?
Good. I don't know now. We didn't get a fine on. David got a knee injury. I don't know if it's a surgical knee, and we're waiting to get an MRI read. I didn't hear this morning. Has been read. Didn't practice. So we played with. I would anticipate we'll have again same crowd. Again, Peyton Ecker's back has not responded, so we'll have the same 2 guys at tackle with Spriggs and Evans. We'll have Reed at right, Bernard back at left. And Colin Rory completely well at center. Other than that, offensively, tight ends, backs, everybody's kind of good to go. Defensively, Griffin Dahlstrom has got a pulled groin. Didn't play last game, but we've been playing about 7, 8 linebackers, so we were able to kind of get away with that one. Cormier's back in the mix, which helps the D front. Is that it?
At what point, I guess, with Eckert, you've talked about, considering the possibility of a red shirt. Is there a drop-dead point for just saying,
No.
it's taken too long?
He's at a point now, if he plays it one game, it's one play. It's a year. So if he goes on the field for one play, it's a year. So you need to just make sure, again, he's doing some very, very light thing. We tried another, kind of like say, he just got a sciatic nerve L5S1 deal that just has not responded. So we'll see how that thing goes. But that's one of the reasons you do play Dan Feeney as a freshman. If there is a glitch along the way, you get the year back. So you don't like that, but again, for sure, we got Dan on the back end, and Peyton will see. My deal, you get to the point of the year, because Rawson's played pretty solid. And we've got, we're bringing, I think, Dimitri Camille along nice, and Pete Bachman's been a steady guy. He plays a little bit for us and some things on special teams, and he's a fourth-year guy. He's 285, 88 pounds for us now. He's done well. So we're kind of, if Peyton's not full go, to go out there for a game or two or a play or two versus, you know, now you have a fifth-year option. And again, the way we do all fifth years too, we decide after the fourth year, do you want the fifth year? We want the fifth year. It's just an option of, you got that extra year on the back end. So in fairness to Peyton, if he's not ready, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's not like the NFL, there's a cut date or a deadline. It's just, is it going to help the team, and is it in the best interest of the kid? And we're at a point right now where, you know, if he's not ready, you just hold that year. And we're lucky, again, year 3, we're a little bit deeper in the line. Like, you think about it, we lost today, what would have been the 4 starting OL. And you still have a decent offensive day against one of the more prideful, consistent defensive units in the history of this conference. And to do that with some backup line just shows, again, our line's not playing great, but Greg Fry does a nice job. And we got some young backup guys that are just playing steady, not high-end, what you want, ideal Big Ten football. We got some dudes that are fighting, and that's a credit to Coach Fry and his cats. Big challenge this week. Thanks for coming.